Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast. Season 11, episode 4. It's just I don't know what I'm supposed to say for every episode, but it's fine.
It is. I'm enjoying watching because I've kind of been annoyed going into this season. So I feel like my expectations were really low. So
yeah,
the episodes are delivering more than I thought. But yeah.
We're working on it. Well, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer's Fun, a Summer House podcast, which is also Winter House, which is also Summer House Martha's Vineyard. So check that out. Also, we have One Season Wonders, the show we love so much that we will eventually get back to.
Hey, because Winter House isn't coming back, I think we'll be able to slot that in the fall.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. It helps the podcast. So if you give us a nice little 5-star review, that would be
5-star. I really want a review. I'm just curious.
I know, I do too. I'm curious on how we're doing so far.
Yes, yeah, because it's a new season.
Yeah, let us know.
How you feeling about it?
Give us 5 stars. Thank you. Anyway, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want because it's our podcast. And also you get access to any episodes we record early, probably including this one. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and watch old seasons, we'll do an after show to talk about Bravo News. But since this is live, we'll talk about whatever Bravo News we want on this podcast. Also, we'll say your name on the podcast. So, thank you to Allison, Chris, Courtney, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lauren, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Jennifer, Leanne, Rio, Robin, Taylor, and Tara.
Woohoo!
Did it. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey. And then, where am I going? For $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we're in live seasons, which is now, this summer house is starting. We got Vanderpump Rules going on. I'm going to be posting a lot on the Patreon. I will ask for your questions, comments, opinions, concerns. Please give us all your thoughts. Please use small words because I am forced to read these. And let me tell you, I'm deciding if you give me a word I can't pronounce, I'm going to ask you to please donate $1 to me for embarrassing me on this podcast because I've had to talk about this in therapy. It was so embarrassing.
Did you?
I was just like, well, and then I made a fool of myself. And only 1,000 people are going to listen, but that's 1,000 too many to know I can't read. So
I mean, but it's out there forever. So get your friends and family to have Alicia's embarrassment settle in a little bit more.
Every word I don't know, I get $1. Okay.
I feel like people are going to want to donate that.
For me to get schooling to learn how to read. Yeah.
I would pay $1 to embarrass you.
All the proceeds go to.
Do we need an at Vanderpasta Venmo?
It will all go to me. If this is about me, it will all go to me.
I know. I'm willing
I'll give you my personal Venmo. Thank you. Anyway, also, we will pick a patron of the episode. I never know how to pronounce it. Anyway, I already have it. Don't worry. I'm prepared. Because so many people give me their thoughts. So I have tons of patrons to choose from.
We love that.
This week, it is Tierney, because Tierney always gives us tons of thoughts. She's always talking to us on all the social media. Well, not me, because then I get into a conversation, I get confused, and I don't want to do that.
I'm literally DMing with her right now. So
oh my God, so this worked out amazing. So Tierney, this one's for you. Great. And I think that's it. Am I done?
You're done.
Okay, great.
For now.
let me read my notes that don't have big words. Maybe that's why I hate Tom Schwartz, because sometimes he uses big words and I don't know how to spell. I hate him a lot. Okay, so previously on Vanderpump Rules, Lisa is asking James about Graham the dog. Katie and Sheena are trying their friendship again. Schwartz invited the whole group to Tahoe, and Ariana said no, and Schwartz got upset. And Sandoval and Sheena talked in the back of Sir. And what they didn't show was that he told her she looked like Shania Twain motorcycle.
I already forgot about that.
Was amazing. I'll never forget about it. Okay, so now we're at James and Allie's house. It's pool party day. It's the first get together they've had at their house, and James is ready to be host at Casa Kennedy. He even bought a barbecue. that he didn't have like a little grill.
This is so James.
And 12 towels. He spent about $2,000 on this party.
Listen, don't tell Raquel about those towels.
Raquel loves a towel. If you guys are questioning what I'm talking about, Raquel, just so you know, if you want to join the Patreon, I think it was on the after show. She talked about
what happened. Dramatic reading.
Yeah, how she ended up in Tom Sandoval's pool and like how they hooked up. And let me tell you, she wouldn't have ended up in that pool if he didn't have towels. But he had towels.
She's about to go rogue on that pool.
So if you want to hear me dramatically read, and don't worry, more dramatic readings are coming in your future because I'm so good at reading out loud. Anyway, everyone's just making me a joke. Anyway, he sprays Allie with the hose. She's not happy.
She is like, absolutely not. And he's like, okay. He immediately stops, and I was like, okay, cool. She runs that house.
Good for her. Okay, then we go to Ariana and Sandoval's house. Katie's here with Ariana. They're trying to figure out what to wear to the pool party. They talk about the lift they got from See You Next Tuesday, and the guy that dropped her off was like, hey, I remember this house. I dropped you off here when you and your husband were fighting because he was cheating.
I can't.
Can we get this Lyft driver on our podcast for an interview?
Well, the way Ariana's like, wow, so many people would love to talk to you. I'm like, you know his name, at least his first name. And
make him
might
famous.
Have his phone number just because of like whatever. Get him on like Sheena's podcast.
Yeah, I want his interview. Ariana also did fill him in on all the tea.
Yeah, but this man, a statement. He doesn't have to like come on. Give the people a statement.
But Ariana let him know what happened with Sandoval. Basically, he did not know. He must not pay attention to pop culture. But little does he know, he plays a very important part in the story. And I think he should monetize that since everyone else is.
What are the chances of getting the same Lyft driver or like Uber driver?
That's amazing. I want no one to tell me if that happens, please God.
I mean, I can imagine getting in, because this is not the same situation, but like I'm trying to figure out my own personal horrors of like getting into an Uber, like sobbing, and then a week later, basically like getting the same
like, hey,
driver.
Are you okay? I remember dropping you off. You were pretty upset.
Yeah. I just reliving a traumatic experience with an Uber driver is my new fear.
But like, good for Ariana, she came out on top, and I hope this Uber driver makes tons of money going forward. Okay, they talk about how Schwartz also got mad last night when Ariana, Katie, and Lala told him off and that he probably shouldn't be friends with Sandoval. Ariana says, quote, this guy I haven't spoken to in however many months all of a sudden has some sort of, authority on who I am and how I think and feel. That's interesting, just like a man. Schwartz, get out of here.
I keep forgetting that they don't speak. They're like, she blocked his number. Like, why does Schwartz... Actually, I know why Schwartz has such an opinion on someone he, like, does not have any contact with. Because he is a man.
He hates women. You cannot convince me otherwise. 2, he hates when people don't want to be friends with him.
He hates disgruntled women. If there's, like...
An angry woman.
Yes, like Sheena is typically happy with him, and so he never has a problem with her,
Whereas Lala, Katie, specifically
have
Katie,
something to Ariana, say to him, and he hates disgruntled women.
He does, and I also think he doesn't like when people don't like him because he's so likable. He's Tom Schwartz. Katie says she doesn't want to abandon the sandwich shop and the work they have to do to go on like this trip to Tahoe that Tom Schwartz, of all people, is planning. She says, and I quote, I would rather eat a jean jacket. Fair.
I'm totally fair.
Ariana also wouldn't feel comfortable staying in a cabin with Sandoval, and Katie's like, yeah, it's fucking weird. Which, like, you live in a house with him, but also you do communicate through Anne.
Exactly. I think sometimes...
And we're being petty about this house thing.
Sometimes the comments from Ariana, like, do come off weird, because then I'm like, you are living with him. But I do forget, like, she has no contact with him, even though they do live in the same house.
I also think, this is her home, is how she sees it, whether he's here or not. This is, like, where she's going to live, and she's being petty, and, like, she's staying here, and it's kind of her safe spot. Whereas in this cabin... No.
It is different, especially
No,
like
thank you.
being on vacation is different than living in a house where you do have Anne in between you and you guys have
Yeah.
like typical routines. This is a group event. It's not just like, hey, we're all happen to be staying in the same hotel and doing two separate things on this trip to Lake Tahoe. Like
Yeah.
everything will be a group activity, and so there will be forced hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. So we go to Villa Rosa. Lala and Sheena are here. We meet Donut, the newest dog to the collection. So they aren't wearing any clothes because they're going to James's pool party right after this, which Lisa, of course, points
Clocks.
out. But then she almost immediately is like, I have to talk to you about so many things, and I don't think you're going to like what I have to say.
She uses the tone of voice of just like, this is like the saddest thing. I just really have to talk to you.
Yeah, right? It was weird.
I just felt like she was already pulling on these like emotional heartstrings from the beginning. Like, this is a really hard conversation to have.
And you're not going to like it, but we must.
Yeah, like I felt like she was about to tell us like Jiggy just died. Like, I know Jiggy is already
Jiggy's
passed,
already
but, like,
dead.
but like that like is the tone of voice of like,
yeah,
this like poor innocent moment. I have to tell you this horrible thing.
it's terrible. So it's obviously about Sandoval. Lisa tells them he's in a dark place, and Sheena's like, well, I reached out and he blocked me, so fuck him. He needs to humble himself and get a good therapist. And I was like, yeah, Sheena,
Yes.
call him out. And Lisa says the conversation she had with him Sheena says the conversation she had with Sandoval last night was frustrating, and she has not seen a depressed Tom Sandoval.
Yeah. Which he can be two things at once.
Yes, agreed. You could be depressed, but it comes across as angry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I, again, think he's more depressed that he lost so much and no one likes him, rather than being depressed about realizing his actions were wrong and trying to fix them. And like,
well, I think he's like, actually, I'm not going to speculate about his depression, because I think he can be a shitty person and be depressed. He cannot take accountability and be depressed about where his life's at. But yeah, he's the core part we do know is he's not taking the accountability for his role in this.
He's not sorry for what he said.
Yeah, like it's like as if this just plopped on him and he's depressed because of it.
Yeah,
how it comes off.
So Lisa does say he's angry and upset and doesn't know what he's doing. And Lala's like, no, actually, he's doubling down, like how he called me a narcissist last night.
Yep.
And Lala says, yeah, she's messed up a lot of times, but she owns it every time. And then she brings up how she should have asked more questions about Randall, because I think her own trauma is like seeping into it.
Yeah.
And Lisa's like, I never held that against you. And Lala's like, okay, but he has. And he goes to the press and he talks about how like I'm not real and I'm fake and like I don't share my life. And so he's out there doing this.
It's the defensiveness off of him that shows that like he doesn't want this, or he's not actively trying to make this situation change, because anything that's coming out at him or like coming towards him, he's trying to deflect into somebody else. So he's trying to change the negativity from him onto someone else, which is not like trying to move on from the situation.
Agreed. So Lisa's like, is that the worst thing he said? What about James has said worse than you? And I almost jumped through my screen and fought her. Stop being like Tom Sandoval, bringing up the past. Lala and James are good. Why do you have to throw someone else to be like, remember when James said bad shit about you?
Especially when like she's over it. This is actively happening. If in 2 years they were lamenting about this and Lisa was like, why aren't you over it? Like you got over it with James. That would make sense. Yes. But when this is actively happening, like, yeah, why are you doing what Sandoval does and deflecting it on to like, oh, well, someone else did this 700 years ago.
How dare you come for my dude? How goddamn dare you?
I am so livid with Lisa.
Same. And Lala says she can forgive someone she can't forgive someone when they can't acknowledge that they've hurt her, which is fair. So Lisa is like, okay, but you have support and love and your life is working out, but his isn't. And I want to be like, you obviously, A, don't know Lala very well because she's going through a lot of trauma right now. And B, what does that have to do with fucking anything?
Wait.
She wasn't comparing.
Why? Yeah, but hold on. Just because her life's going good because she nourishes like and builds up her friendships and cares about people and like apologizes when things go wrong because she's doing the right things to like build
Yeah.
a positive good life around a bunch of shit she's also going through, but she works hard to maintain a life
She is
that
in
she
therapy.
enjoys.
She is working on
Like
herself.
he is in the dumpster because of his own actions. He has control over some of this.
I love how men are never responsible for their actions, especially on this show. They're just like too weak.
Lisa made it as if like Lala is like bragging that her life
Yeah.
is so great, and it's like, I'm sorry.
Also,
What?
let me tell you, the internet is pissed at Lisa, at the producers, at the showrunners, at the editors.
Good.
They're like, you could have made this season about badass women taking their life and taking no prisoners, not even caring. And they go, instead, we're forced to feel bad for Tom Sandoval.
No. We're shaming people for not feeling bad. Like that's what this conversation is. They're getting shamed for not moving heaven and earth
Feeling
to
bad.
support this man. I'll get into it later, but just I literally was so upset.
And here's the thing. I don't openly comment on Tom Sandoval's shit. I don't care enough to like go at him. However, I don't like him. I don't trust him. And because I still hear his shit, it's still spewing and he's still an asshole. And I don't think he's grown.
I mean, even in present day, we're having the whole scandal with him comparing himself to the O.J. Simpson trial
and George
the entire
Floyd.
O.J. Simpson thing. And yeah, and it's like,
how is that even printed? That is wild.
That author, I'm so thankful for that author because like the way she wrote that article, she hates him, and I appreciate like finally somebody not just like boosting his ass up. Like I recently saw today that he did like a taste testing of like grocery store cakes. Like, what are we doing in media?
What a waste of space.
Yes.
Anyway, he did go on his Instagram and like post an apology,
which is embarrassing because he's known that's been coming for months.
Which is so embarrassing. But also, he tried to explain himself and be like, it's the media attention. And it's like, but no. George Floyd lost his life. There was a murder trial.
There are a lot of things that get a lot of media attention, and you don't need to pick these things. Because guess what? The cultural impact both of those things had has nothing to do with, like, similar to what you have brought upon this earth.
You could have just said the media attention is crazy. You didn't have to compare it to literally anything. Specifically, George Floyd. That is wild. Fine, you want to compare your thing to a murder trial? Weird, but
well, he's comparing it to 2 unjust deaths.
Unjust deaths, so random too. Oh, it is unjust. He's trying to fight it as
like that's the thing is I think he's comparing himself to 2 3 because of like Ron Goldman, 3 victims in those media situations.
Oh my god, I want to die. I want to die.
Because if not that, then he's comparing himself to,
O.J. Simpson and the cop.
And it's like, he would never.
No, he's the victim.
And even if he's doing that, again, he probably looks at it as like unjust persecution.
This man is so wild.
Into this episode is he's doing all of these things actively and not doing anything to make his life better.
No.
So what do you want me to do about that?
Don't cancel him over Sandoval. Cancel him over that New York Times article for sure.
There's 700 things to cancel him over.
Get rid of him.
Rate.
So anyway, back to Lisa. She has seen depression and she knows that Sandoval is depressed and she's obviously very upset because of her brother and she doesn't want to be in like the position where she regrets.
I understand.
I get that. I totally get that.
Here's my thing because she says like to tell them to like cool off, I understand asking them to like simmer down on the podcast and the interviews. I think the outbound actions did need to come down at some point. And so like, I have no problem with Lisa asking Sheena and Lala to basically stop or like reduce their content on him and to like ease the burden, I'll say, of just like the media shitstorm that he is going through. Like that, he actually is going through that, even if he created it, whatever. But that's it. That's where the responsibility lies. No one is responsible for anybody else's mental health and like forcing them to get better. He has to want to do that. And he has done zero actions to do it for himself. I understand, again, like reducing the outbound pressure on him. But at some point, he's going to have to deal with this to make his mental health better.
I agree, right? The outbound pressure, even for me, I don't care anymore. I'm not listening about Sandoval news because I don't care. I've made up my mind. However, I still don't like him.
I agree.
Like, I'm not, you're never going to convince me to enjoy him as a person. That will never happen.
And I think I think Lisa makes this out to be like, it's an all or nothing thing. And that's what's not cool
and it's not. Yeah.
You can stop, like, I'll say outwardly hating him and like try to make things like a little bit better without being his friend. Like, I don't get why we live in this world that he has to be in this group and like besties with everyone again. Like, why can't we just like come back to a new normal?
Agreed. And I will shit on him on this podcast, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about him, honestly. So
I will react to his actions.
His actions. I will, yes. And we are watching it.
I will never come for him outside of the things he is doing publicly.
For sure. So they start crying, and Lisa says Sandoval is not the type of person to have suicidal thoughts unless he means it.
I also hate that
comment. I hate that comment.
Every person is the person.
Every person means it if they think it.
No, but every person is up for horrible thoughts. Like, why are we... I just feel like that's, like, continuing a stigma of, like, oh... why do I have suicidal thoughts? Like, he's not the type of person. Like, he's good. He's successful. He's happy. And it's like, that's not how it works. When I've been like outwardly my happiest is usually when I'm having my worst thoughts.
Agreed.
So like, that's not, no, let's stop that.
No. Also, I don't feel the need to give him listen, I get people go through shit. But I don't know why we're prioritizing this man's mental health when he has what am I trying to say? He has put down other people's mental health, aka Ariana's.
Even Sheena. I thought about that at the end of this episode. I was like, what he did to like Ariana during that reunion and all of that bullshit was so terrible. Insane. But then also like he was talking about how in that Sandoval episode at the end of the season, he was talking about how like Ariana was threatening to like
kill herself if they broke.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, there was no care about her mental health during that. And whenever Sheena was served with that
restraining order.
Yeah. Like Sandoval literally like made those comments during the reunion about how she did it. And like Sheena was like sobbing and so unwell and saying she was so unhappy and she like needed to move past this because her daughter was noticing like he didn't take account into her mental health. Like his comments about the restraining order were so unnecessary and did not add anything to the storyline.
Agreed.
Like, there are so many instances of him never caring about anybody else's. So yeah, in theory, like I get so defensive and I'm like, why do we care about his? I think we should care again to bringing it back to neutral, but like, why are we doing all this legwork when he won't do it for himself?
That's
he doesn't care about other people.
Is everyone else is in therapy, trying to get help, being sober, doing whatever they need to do. Whereas like, we don't prioritize their mental health, but like,
why do I have to prioritize his when
he doesn't?
Like, why do I have to do the work?
I agree. I know. We don't even like this man, and we have to do the work.
I can't wait to go to therapy tomorrow for myself.
So Lala says she hears Lisa and doesn't want Sandoval to define his life. And Lisa's like, exactly, you get it. But Lala's like, listen, I'm not taking like in Sandoval's mental health. Like the thought of, I have been thinking of him as someone who doesn't have feelings because that's what he's been showing us. And she's like, and I also have a lot of anger in this situation particularly. And like, that's not healthy. I'm trying not to be angry all the time.
Yeah.
And Sheena's like, look, it hasn't been easy for me. I love Sheena.
I thought about her interview whenever she said that. I was like, oh, she's going to get roasted for that comment.
Surprisingly, I didn't see a lot about that, but I laughed. I laughed hysterically.
I did too, but I also do feel for Sheena.
This was one of her best friends, right? And he fucked up her mental health too. So like, what the fuck? And Lisa's like, okay, you can forgive then. And Sheena's like, but is that worth losing Ariana? which I think is good. She's thinking outside herself. I'm like,
yes, but I also think Lisa doesn't understand the dynamic here. Like,
That's
Lisa's
the thing.
basically asking for them to be like besties and lift him up and like
she's like, you'll keep all your friends. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Like, you'll heal him and
Who
everybody
cares
will
about
be,
Ariana?
Yay.
It's totally
and
fine.
it's like, that's not the world we live in. We don't have to do everything for him.
No.
We can do some of it, but like, we don't need to be friends with him to like stop negatively impacting his mental health.
That's it. So Lisa tells Sheena to not be a people pleaser and talk to Ariana about it. And Sheena, though, in her interview was like, Ariana made it really clear. Anyone who's friends with him, like, is dead to her. And she's like, but if someone is struggling, like, I don't want like something to happen that we'll regret. To which I said, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can stop coming for him and just be like cordial in the sense that you won't openly punch him in the face or kill him or whatever. But like, you do not have to be friends with him. You do not have to invite him over for Sunday dinner. You do not need to check in on him.
I feel like Lisa manipulated them into that of like,
yes, it's all nothing.
Like preying on their like concern for his mental health because they care about theirs and everybody else's like to a normal degree, and then like forcing them to be like best friends with him again. It's like, I got you. Like she's like an evil witch, like forcing them into being friends with him as if his mental health is their responsibility. Yeah,
I can be cool with someone and like hope to God they don't do something that them and I will regret.
Yes.
And like if they need something, they can reach out, but we don't have to be friends. I will not check in on you regularly.
But I'm not responsible for all of it.
No, I'm responsible for my part. So if that means me laying off and not talking about you on my podcast, fine, whatever. But if you think I'm gonna
for everyone. Like,
yeah, but if you think I'm gonna give up a friend for a different friend, you're out of your mind. Like for a friend who screwed me.
Yes, and one who will not apologize or humble himself or like come to reality.
Who blocked my cute ass daughter on Instagram? Never.
The way I think about that all the time is unreal.
I think about it all the time, and I'd like you guys to know that I think Tom Schwartz was on Watch What Happens Live.
He was. I watched it.
Did he say something about Summer Moon?
Andy asked why Schwartz doesn't follow Summer Moon.
Summer Moon's Instagram posted like looking for Tom Schwartz's name and tagged him and Andy and Watch What Happens Live. And I went, Summer Moon's a savage.
Andy literally goes, why don't you follow Summer Moon when you follow like 6,000 other people?
And what'd he say?
He was just like, I'm like, he like gave an answer.
So anyway, whatever. Lala and Sheena are going to go to Lake Tahoe. They don't know if Sandoval's coming. They agree to stop attacking him, which I think is more than enough. We're done now. I think
that does need to happen. Like, I do think that's negatively impacting him. So, like, let's do our part on not putting him down.
And then from there, we're kind of good.
It's on him.
We don't have to do
him
the
and
rest.
His paid friends have got it from there.
Yeah, have Billy Lee check in once in a while.
Add another friend to the list.
Why the fuck is it on Sheena? Tell that guy from the party that James didn't know.
Yeah, who's that guy that was mad at Katie?
I don't know, but Raquel posted something being like, how did James not know this guy? He was at all these events. And I literally went, that's the joke, is that he probably has met this dude and he's like, who are you?
Like Raquel.
Raquel posted something like, proof that James has met this guy before.
Proof? I can't.
This is the guy that says Katie kicked him out.
Raquel thinks she's doing the proofs, receipts,
timelines. Get it, Raquel. Because now we're team you, I guess? Never. Come on.
Like, wow, doing all this work full free.
You're not going to flip us. Anyway, so then we go to James and Allie's house. It's the pool party. Everyone shows up, including Sheena's sister, Courtney, who she said previously she hopes Courtney is a part of the show in the future. What future? Sheena will see, but that's also, who she wants.
The ratio of guys to girls is really
hilarious.
Off.
It is a taco fest, if you will. There are girls galore. Schwartz is here with another plant, and Allie's like, that's like his third fucking plant he brought us.
I screamed it when I saw him walking up with that. I was like, no!
I was literally like, what if they're not plant people? Like, what if they're all fake?
Think this is a really funny bit.
It's hilarious. I hope he gives them a whole jumble by the end.
Every episode I need a plan.
3 and we're on episode 4. So one day he has to show up with 2.
3 to 4 ratio. I can do with that.
It's fine. So Schwartz is sober curious, as we know, but he's going to drink today. So like all of us sober curious people out there.
If the sun is out, we're drinking.
That is me. I'm super curious. So Schwartz expresses that after the conversation with Katie, Ariana, and Lala last night, it didn't go well. He basically got tarred and feathered. And I literally went, I didn't think it was that bad. That was the best it could have gone.
It's just insane to me. He said on Watch What Happens Live that he like blacked out the moment. He's like, apparently there's like a goat that freezes up when it is like getting attacked. And I was like, this makes so much sense.
He compares himself to a goat.
But also, he does hate women. And so he like, something overrides him during these moments and he becomes such an asshole.
How dare these women with opinions, first off, no, come at me, a man, and tar and feather me for telling them to shut the fuck up. Like, you're the worst. He hates women.
And in the after show, Ariana was like, why does me making money equate
bother
having a big
you?
Ego? Well, no, having an ego. Like, he came so after her for having an ego, and it's like, I didn't see her have an ego at all. I heard her say, I am not doing that.
I'm not going. And you can go, but I think you're stupid for going.
Schwartz, like, gets me for a minute sometimes. Like, episode 1, when he was talking to James, I'm like, okay, like, I love this.
He brought a plant.
And then he talks to a woman, and I'm like, no, sit back down.
I know, it's him with women. I hate him with women. And also, that was the best it could have gone. But now he needs to, like, drink because he's scarred that women stood up. There were 3 of them. Can you believe? 3 women?
How dare they treat him that way?
He thought he divorced women with opinions, but they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're still coming at him. But he says he is Tom Schwartz. He's not an accessory to the affair. There's so much more to him than that. And I will say, I agree. He's a woman hater. He's a liar. He's a cheater.
Though
he is an accessory.
Time the way he's still on camera acting like he did not know this was a thing. I'm just like, hey, let's.
That's the best.
I need everybody to cut the bullshit and be like, all right.
Here's the thing, Meredith. It was the women who figured out he was an accessory, so that doesn't count.
You're right. It disqualifies it because 3 women figured it out, and another woman on the show, Raquel, pointed it out.
Fuck
so, like,
that woman. Yeah, no,
that's not
we're
valid.
Out.
Nope.
Any woman? No.
Nope.
I thought Raquel was cool because she shut the fuck up around men, but not anymore.
Strike it from the record if a girl said it.
Like he's literally like, I am an accessory, but I'm not at the same time because I'm much more than that.
I'm telling you, I'm not, and so that is good.
I'm a truther. You can believe me. I'm a man.
I mean, we crowned James as number 1 guy in the group and crowned Schwartz as a truther.
A man. A truther man.
A truther can only be a man, Alicia.
That's true. Women lie. So, whatever. James, number 1 guy in the group, made a something about her floaty.
So cute. The attention to detail and how he notices things. He just like wants people to be happy and not in the way Schwartz does. Like Schwartz just like wants everybody to be cool with him.
Why aren't women happy? They should be.
Like James just like wants to see joy in his friends and he like can see the little things that
this
bring
brought me joy. Anyway, so then he's so excited about hosting his pool party. He jumps off the roof a bunch of times and he gets Schwartz too, and he's pumped he got someone else to do his thing. And I'm happy for him.
Childlike, and it's like the right amount of childlike.
I'm so happy for him.
Joy, not child behavior.
Yeah. It used to be, but not anymore because he's better.
He's better.
So then we cut to a place called Into the Sea, where Sandoval and Billy Lee are here to do a cold plunge.
I'm concerned. Is Billy Lee on this season?
I don't know. So anyway,
you need somebody to film with, Billy
Let me tell you, cold plunges first aren't interesting to me. So this whole scene's not interesting.
But the commitment to him making it interesting on his like face and through his body, I was like, you are trying way too hard.
I also have, he says, I have a question for you. He says he's stressed out and overwhelmed with the affair, and he realizes he needs a way to handle his emotions. Personally, I wouldn't do a cold plunge to handle myself and get unstressed. I'd probably do a massage or like go to sleep early.
Yeah, but remember, he sought to punish himself.
You're right. You're right.
And so he went to New Zealand to like have his sins forgiven.
Yeah,
and that didn't work. So I think pain is the road.
That's true.
That will work though. So.
For sure. Yeah, no, this is great.
But also, as someone who like avoids their emotions, pain isn't the feeling to make me bypass all my negative emotions. Eating, shopping,
I was gonna say shopping, like, watching TV where people's lives are worse than mine.
I can numb my thoughts out. Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry if you do a cold plunge, but no one looks attractive while doing a cold plunge. Sandoval was like breathing heavy, squeezing his face.
That was macting so hard. I see people do cold plunges on TikTok. Like they just sit there like a freaking dead body.
Not on my For You page until today. I bet
they just do it. They're not like.
That was him. That was like literally the worst.
It was too much for me.
Anyway, so Sandoval's never been an outsider when it comes to his friends, and he wishes he could become part of it. And I'm like, wow, wouldn't Sheena and Lala and James love to hear that? All of our outsiders we've ever had. You know what? Even throw Katie in there when everyone hated her.
Last year, even.
Yeah, literally. Okay. So we know his main goal is to just get his friends back.
But he acts like this just happened to him. I am somehow an outsider.
He's a man, Meredith. I think we need to look at this from the idea of men.
Being on the inside, and I don't know how I got here.
Yeah. He also says, quote, "It's always the people closest to you that seem to hurt you the most."
Well, that is, And
I wrote, get fucked.
They have access, so yeah.
You did this. You hurt everyone.
Yeah, you know what, Sandoval? You are so right. The people closest to you hurt you, and so like it's so weird that you hurt Ariana and Sheena and Lala and Katie and Schwartz and James, and Lisa. Like I can't believe you hurt all those people. You were so close to them.
How dare they hurt you back by not wanting anything to do with you? So get fucked. Anyway. He even head dunks into the cold plunge, which makes Billy Lee just shook it.
I can't believe this made the edit because nothing happened. There was so much silence. Billy was trying to engage with him. I actually felt bad for Billy.
She's like, oh, it's cold? And he's like, and then he dunks and she literally goes, oh. And then he comes up and she goes, feel better? She's like,
I literally was like waiting for her to look dead in the camera and go, what am I supposed to do with this?
What do you want? Why was I called for this? Am I being paid? Who's
honestly the bill? I hope to God Billy got paid for all
Jesus
of this.
Christ.
How miserable.
How uncomfortable. So let's go back to some fun, the pool party. I would just like to say, damn, Katie is hot. She is so hot. I want to be Katie when I grow up.
It reminds me that, like, when you just, like, don't give a fuck, being hot is your energy, Like,
it's worried. Just her energy. Like, oh my God, she's amazing.
I also do think she got her, like, style in order, but again, that comes with, like, not giving a fuck.
I think that's it, because I still wouldn't wear half the shit she wears.
No, but she it doesn't wear her. She wears it, yeah.
Yeah. It's so good. So, also, she took those stupid ass braids out, which, God, no, I'm just kidding. Her haircut, too. She's just hot all around. I hope Schwartz is kicking himself. But we did see he's working out a lot. I didn't take notes on it.
Andy did ask on Watch What Happens Live if they ever backslid. And Schwartz said, like, whenever they were getting divorced and, like, had the conversations, he thought maybe they would at some point. Just, like, that is now.
He's like, I hope so.
No, they never backslid.
He was like, get fucked.
She was so serious about this divorce. She's like, I do not even want to see you naked ever.
He's like, I'm going to miss you, and like touches her leg. And she's like, I'm going to call the police on you.
She's like, don't touch me ever again.
But he's trying to also get hot was my point. But you can't compare. Come on.
I did like him in those sunglasses. I thought they were fun.
He sucked you back in. He's the minute he opens his mouth. No,
him and Lala sucked me in. Like that, they have a good convo. It got me.
I'm fighting it anyway.
I know.
Allie and Lala, they want BBLs, and Allie's like, we should just do 50 squats a day and hold each other accountable. And Lala's like, nah.
That will not get you an ass.
Well, if you start with nothing,
I
you could
agree.
get
But like, you're not
somewhere.
gonna have an ass in like 2 months.
We don't know. 50 squats. We'll see what happens. Allie, try it out. Let me know what happens. Lala asks about James's sobriety. Allie says it's been about 3 months now. We cut really quick to James, who shows us that he's drinking a weed drink.
Oh my god.
She's like, look, it's weed. He was awesome.
He like chugs it too.
That's later. We cut back, and I was like, Jesus Christ. The way the editors got him, it's always good.
I love it.
So Allie and James have had conversations on why he's sober. Allie, though, is not going to share that personally, which I think is beautiful.
I agree, and I felt like Lala was kind of goading her into like,
yeah, she's like, what's
trying to say it?
What's his like, rock bottom? Everyone has a rock
just
bottom.
Let it be. This is awkward.
So Lala's like, do you think I can ask James so he can share? And Allie's like, I don't know, but if you want to ask him, do it. And Lala's like, I really want to know.
She played this well by being like, you should talk to him. Like, yeah. How about you like, leave me out of this?
You do it. Lala's like, I just want to know his super rock bottom moment. I was like, okay, weirdo. But Lala feels, and I get this, very close with James. She doesn't, though, want to ask him a question that might dig too deep or trigger. But Allie's like, I think you of all people should ask him. So please enjoy that conversation.
Like, here's the thing is, like, you, Lala, as Lala, can definitely ask him. Lala on camera, I'm like, hey, how about we stop making this so performative? But maybe we're filming a show.
I think don't ask Allie. You could have just asked James at some point, but
yeah,
whatever.
I felt like this was a trap for Allie, and it felt weird.
Allie's too smart. She's not gonna fuck with this.
She also this well.
She also gives I don't give a fuck energy, but it's different from Katie because Katie's like I don't give a fuck about these people. Allie's like I don't give a fuck about this show. I'm just gonna be me. Like she's like this isn't my livelihood.
She's like I don't care if I'm on this or not.
She's actually an astrologer, so she has her own thing going for her.
Just waiting for my appointment.
But she's all booked up because she's that good. So, cut to James chugging his weed drink, and then his food on the grill lights on fire.
Oh my god! And
like
he's
he
like
is so funny.
It, and Ariana's like, no, that is the opposite of what you.
There's
do.
one burger patty that's on fire, and he's like, it's that little sucker, and everyone laughs because he's like trying to. It's the best.
You can tell if he hadn't told us he bought that grill today. This is the very obvious moment.
Yeah, he's no like, clue what's
you
happening.
Gotta get the things with grease dripping off of it off this fucking grill, James.
Never light it on fire, James. Anyway, he also DJs, which obviously I don't know why. So then Lala and Schwartz talk. Lala says she knows she came in heavy. She was triggered by her own experiences. She's trying not to be. Schwartz says he gets that people have stuff going on, but Ariana has been moved to queen status, like put on a pedestal and diva energy instead of someone who's been hurt.
It's the diva comment for me.
Mine was instead of someone who's been hurt. Like she has to act a certain way because she's been hurt.
I saw so many comments too on, I think it was like a TikTok that was like, yeah, like she moved on and like has a new boyfriend and like get over it already. Like clearly you're over it. And I'm like, why can't she heal and also not want to hang out with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, just because she has more money now and has a new boyfriend? Like why does that mean she has to like be over it?
Yeah, I never understood the trend of like, oh, if you're like in a new relationship, you could totally hang out around your ex. And it's like, no, I don't have to. I don't want to. Just because I'm with someone else doesn't mean I automatically forgive my ex for every shitty thing they did.
Especially with, I think she would agree with this. Like, she moved on very quickly.
She did.
And so it's like she's still processing everything.
It's been 3 months, literally, at this point.
I need the world to lay off it. And I cannot believe Schwartz is saying this stuff. Actually, I can believe
also, the other thing that bothers me is like, oh, Ariana should be crying in a corner and like being sad and wanting Sandoval back and being hurt and like depressed probably. And it's like, because she's not acting that way, you have your panties in a little twist.
Because you as the viewer like might do that and like won't like get over it the way like she does.
Or even Schwartz. I mean, Schwartz was terrible after his divorce. Right?
I mean,
like
That man has so many issues. I can't tell if it's from the
That's
divorce
true.
or
We
just
have
his
no idea.
wife.
Or Bert, his brother.
Oh my god.
All right. So, Schwartz says he loves Ariana, but she's not gonna, or he's not
No,
gonna
he
fawn
doesn't.
for her attention. Well, he doesn't love women.
Also, she's not asking for your attention.
She doesn't want your attention.
She actually wants you to leave her the fuck alone.
So Lala is working on not being a dog in everyone else's fight because that's not healthy. She's trying to practice forgiveness. And she says she didn't mean to say Schwartz should abandon Sandoval, but she sees Schwartz trying to appease everyone. And that's how she feels her dad was. She thinks people bulldozed him, and she believed that the stress of that all killed her dad.
I think this is like such a genuine, like heartfelt, like conversation, and I can really see this. Like, that's where, like, that's why this got me. Is I am like worried for Schwartz. He needs to prioritize himself, especially because of what's going on in his life. He has so much going on with his family. Like, the fact that he is trying to like fight this for Sandoval when Sandoval won't even put this much energy into like fixing his own life is exhausting.
It is, totally. And Lala apologizes for not giving Schwartz grace last year because of everything he was going through, which I agree. I mean, he probably
didn't put it on camera, so like, how could you?
He didn't put it on camera. I mean, he probably realistically wasn't even thinking about the Raquel and like Sandoval thing of it all. He was probably like, I'm just trying to get through the day, which is fair.
I never really thought about that. He was on like such like overdrive.
Yeah, but then you do something blatantly, like it's hard for me to do it, right? I know he was going through a lot and he probably wasn't thinking about it. So like I understand why he didn't tell anyone because he's like, I have my own business to go around. That. But then Katie specifically says, don't kiss Raquel, and that night he kisses Raquel just to spite her.
And that taco truck, I always go back to that taco truck conversation. Where, or maybe it was breakfast, I don't know exactly.
It was tacos. For sure.
Like when they were basically setting up Ariana on like why the breakup would happen. Like I think about that constantly. They talked about it on the after show and I was like, you're so right. Like,
so again, it's like, I want to give you grace, but you're showing me reasons I shouldn't. Like,
well, you've done everything to not, and like your behaviors continue.
And you've given no one else grace.
Yeah.
So whatever. Schwartz apologizes for retaliating and going after her lips that one time. But Schwartz asks if Lala could maybe have this conversation with Sandoval because Sandoval to him is family and he can't abandon Sandoval, which is fair. So you've picked your family. That's fine.
I also hate that Ariana has kind of given the stipulation of you can't be friends with me and with, Sandoval, but no one else has. Like, no one has told Schwartz, like, cut him out or we're not going to be friends with you.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like Schwartz and Lisa and all these people are putting this narrative on the rest of the cast saying, like,
Ariana's giving you an
cut out Sandoval.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what's happening at all.
No. Ariana said, from my life, I don't want it. But you do whatever you want in your personal time.
And the way Schwartz comes to conversations makes it easy to have a conversation like this with Lala. Like, they can both recognize each other and see each other's pain and, like, honor each other and respect each other. And, like, Sandoval cannot do any of that.
Yeah. As he just calls Lala a narcissist and told Sheena.
I can't wait.
And told Sheena about how, like, her podcast really made Raquel go to the edge and she should feel bad about it. Like, it's exhausting.
I can't wait for the conversation in Lake Tahoe. It's probably on that boat whenever, like, Lala screams in his face.
You're going to have to wait because we're going back to the cold plunge.
How do we have more content from that?
So Sandoval and Billy Lee are done. Sandoval feels great. And Billy Lee's like, you deserve it. You deserve to feel bliss. And Sandoval's like, I
deserve pain.
I'm not going to date other women because I miss Raquel. I haven't talked to her for 3 weeks. And the last time I talked to her was when I said goodbye for New Zealand and Raquel told me she's extending her trip. And Sandoval says that what they had was love and that's why he was so addicted to it.
That's not. Those are two separate things.
But it wasn't the hooking up. It was the hanging out that was the best part. And he wants to give him and Raquel a chance. And he's saving himself for Raquel. So now he's sober and celibate.
Ew! I literally, the way he said he was saving himself for her.
It brought back Catholic memories.
I have never felt more uncomfortable in my entire life watching this show than him saying that.
All I literally thought was like, he has no joy. He's sober and celibate.
But he's putting the responsibility on her. Like, he has to do these
Yes.
things for her because she's doing these things. It's like,
True.
how about, like,
She didn't ask.
she's living her life. Yeah, she never asked you to do this.
No. So Billy Lee is tired of the world hating on Sandoval and wishes the world knew that Sandoval was really hurting. Well, if he projected that to the world, we would probably know, but
also, in theory, we know now that, like, all this, you're saying all this stuff, and, like, the math ain't mathin'.
We're still
it's
not into it.
consistent. You don't seem that hurt.
No. So they talk about Sandoval's dark thoughts and how he came close to being really lost a couple of times. And he thought maybe the best way to show he's sorry to everyone is for him to just go away because he doesn't feel like he's allowed to be happy again. And those are very sad, deep thoughts. But also, you're not getting help for them.
That, and, like, people have told you exactly what they want from you. I'm sure there's a lot of horrible people on the internet who have told him to go off himself, and that's not okay. But, like, the people actually in this circle have told you what they want from you. That's not to go away. Well, now they want you to go away because you've done nothing else. But, like, and by go away, I don't mean kill yourself. I just mean leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
They asked you for apologies to humble yourself. Like, they've repeatedly told you what you should do
they need,
to better this situation. And you're not doing it. And then also, it's a little too late that if you do start to do those things, you have fractured these relationships to, like, such a degree that, like, when they don't just jump and be your best friend, you're going to attack them again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're looking for something, you're looking for validation and attention from your old friend group that you're not going to get because you don't deserve that type of relationship with these people anymore. And he's, like, looking for something out of his apologies constantly. And when he doesn't get it, he doubles down and, like, attacks these people,
which isn't gonna help. That's not what's to get his friend.
Whoa, why? Like, you're not gonna be my friend? He did it to Schwartz.
Yeah. I mean, he's not in the right state of mind. He will never be in the right state of mind.
It's painful to watch this because it's not rational.
I know. So let's go back to the pool party and let's watch James do Butter Bay. Have you heard of Salt Bay? James is Butter Bay.
He, like, when he's on one, I want a live camera of his backyard. Like,
Allie literally has not gone near this man. She's like, whatever.
She's like, thank God other people are here so that, like,
she's actually his bits. An introvert, so she's in her room, probably hanging out with the cats because she couldn't care less.
Someone not fully like James, but I need the humor of James. Like, the bits get me. Like, I love that. James I want to just crack up about random stuff like this.
James is the best. So, Sheena is in the pool with Katie and Ariana, and who I think is Courtney, her sister.
I think it was Courtney, the back of Courtney's head. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about the conversation with Sandoval. Sheena says they talked about the podcast he was pissed about. And she says now she's stuck because she went to Lisa's and Lisa asked Sheena and Lala to ease up. And Ariana's like, Lisa's brother and Sandoval are two very different people. Okay, it's not the same situation. And then Ariana says Sandoval still won't take responsibility for what he did. And she's not going to say, like, hey, everybody, welcome to my Instagram Live. Be nice to my ex-boyfriend. Like, she's just not going to fucking do that.
Her voice when she did that, I literally was dying. Hey, everyone.
Which I don't think that's what they're asking, but Ariana's obviously still upset at the situation because it's been 3 months. Let's give people grace where they actually deserve grace. Jesus.
That's the thing, is, like, Ariana's taking everything Lisa's saying to the way and degree. Yes, Lisa's, like, asking for a lot anyways, and Ariana's like, fuck you.
Which, fine. Fight about it.
She's allowed to do all this stuff.
Because Lisa
Everybody
else
asking.
Can't. Lisa is asking for too much, I think.
Here's the thing. No matter what Lisa asks for, Ariana's going to be annoyed. And she has the right to be annoyed. This is
I agree. But also, Lisa's not at all taking into Ariana's feelings. And we saw this even at the reunion where Lisa was defending Sandoval and like, blah, blah, blah.
But she didn't ask, well, I don't know. I can't remember the exact words Lisa used. But, like, it seemed like, I know Lisa was asking in a general, like, group sense, but, like, it's not like she sat, like, Ariana down and said, you need to, like, be better. Like,
no, but
I think sometimes when things get said to the group, it's like, oh, we all have to do this. And it's like, Lala and Sheena are the ones with the podcast, going out constantly, talking about this stuff. And they're not Katie and Ariana. And so I think that's why Lisa, like, sat those two down and said, like, hey, ease up. But that doesn't mean, hey, Ariana needs to ease up, too.
No, completely agree. I think more it's like, when Sheena was like, oh, but is Sandoval, being friends with Sandoval worth losing Ariana?
Oh, yeah.
And Lisa was like, who cares? Like, she's not thinking about Ariana in this
She
situation.
could not care less
No.
about Ariana or any of these women because Lisa did not stand up for anybody's mental health at that reunion.
Also,
but she's standing up for mental health now.
Someone made a tweet that said it's really funny how Lisa wants everyone to forgive Tom Sandoval, but she can't forgive Kyle for something that happened 25 years ago.
That's what Tierney was messaging me on Instagram at the
I'll
start
post
of
the
this
tweets.
podcast.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ariana can understand that he's had thoughts, but feels like those are based on a situation he created, which he doesn't give a fuck about anyone else's mental health in that situation. She says, sorry if she's a bitch for saying it, but she also doesn't think she is. So, which I agree.
I think she has every right to say that in the moment. I don't think now she would like make some of those comments, but
in the moment,
I think she would just refrain from like
commenting
talking about him.
Yeah. So Sheena starts crying, saying that he was a great friend, and Ariana's like, but it wasn't genuine. Once he gets invited to more parties, he'll be happy because he gets what he wants.
This is where I got sad because like they don't give space like for Sheena to be sad about her own friendship with Sandoval. But I also don't think these are the people to have your sorrow.
Yeah. Ariana, who hates him, and Katie, who has hated him since the crack of dawn.
Like, you can't, like, oh, woe is me to the person who got hurt the most out of this and be like, I'm just sad we weren't friends.
And then to the person who, A, you're not that good of friends with, but B, supports Ariana wholeheartedly because C, she has hated this man since season 1.
This conversation would land differently if it was like Lala and Courtney that Sheena was like saying like,
even
I'm just
Allie,
really sad.
Like, Allie would get it, but no. So Ariana says she doesn't trust one word that comes out of that man's mouth, and she feels like it's manipulation, and Sheena's crying beneath her sunglasses.
It's not funny, but I'm just this is so awkward and like, funny. What is happening?
It was kind of funny. Because Katie's just like staring. Courtney didn't say anything. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
So then we go to Lala's apartment. James is here. They get like sober drinks. And then they talk about James's sobriety for 3 months. And Lala's like, hey, what made you become sober? But you don't have to tell me. But I'm asking on camera if you could tell me. And he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't care if I have to tell you. And he goes, there's not much to tell. He says it was like a confidence thing. And then when the Sandoval and Raquel stuff happened, him and Allie would fight a lot because like he was drinking and like it just wasn't the thing. And so it started with comments on Instagram, which I didn't really follow. But
I think he would get emotional and like triggered by a lot of things. He would drink a lot. Him and Allie would then fight. So it just like one led into another.
So then Allie left for a friend's house for 2 nights, and this is what really triggered James, and he was very upset. And he says the last time he quit drinking was for the relationship, but this time he's really drinking for himself, or he's quitting drinking for himself.
Yeah.
And when he did drink, it was because he was single and he thought he could handle it, and he just can't. And he realized when Allie left, he was willing to do anything to get her back.
Isn't that quitting for the relationship?
Kind of, but also I think Allie was basically like, look, I just like, you're a psycho when you drink and I'm out. And I think he realized like he wants to be with Allie so bad and he wants to give her the best version of himself.
Yeah. I think it is more him than it was last time, but there is a relationship element here that he's like trying to pretend it's not.
But I also think if he was like, Allie, I'm just going to have a beer tonight, like on our couch, I don't think Allie would be like, no. I think she'd be like, okay, just don't yell at me. You know?
Yes.
Or whatever.
I just was like, I think these are
It is a little
similar.
like their relationship. Anyway, but if Raquel had left, he would have been like, see ya. No, I'm just kidding. Thank God. So James is looking at quitting drinking as a forever thing, or else he wouldn't have quit. And also, when he first quit drinking, he was like in his mid to late 20s. Now he's 31. Mm-hmm. He wants to focus on his health. He doesn't want to be a 40-year-old alcoholic that loses everything, which I think is very fair.
Which, like, such a good line. I love when they, like, reference they don't want to be Sandoval, and I just find it so funny.
Got him. So Lala and James, they're very close because they've gone through a lot together. Mm-hmm. I mean, they joined the show around the same time. They were both train wrecks. We get a shot of when
we
Lala
just
says,
watched that season.
Lala says, I can see everyone has not been working on their summer bodies. And then James asks Katie if she's pregnant.
The chaos.
Oh my God. But like, so then they also kind of became sober together, and they like have grown on the show together. And James tells Lala he's also very proud of her for everything she's achieved. I really love this friendship. I love that they hooked up a few times. Hilarious.
I think the way they've been able to evolve their friendship is really
beautiful.
Unique through all these ups and downs and ups agains.
It's really beautiful. Yeah.
It really is.
Everything with James is just, everything he touches turns to beauty, you know? Number one guy in the group.
Everything.
Number one guy in the group.
This man.
So then we go to Tom Schwartz's apartment. Immediately, I'm like, what are these sticky notes that we get a shot of? It's someone says that she loves him and misses him. And then we kept up fucking Joe cutting his hair.
I was not prepared to so quickly be introduced to Joe.
I watched this 3 times. Like, just this intro to be like, what the fuck is happening? Also,
there was so much happening in this like whole scene.
I'm trying to go in with an open mind because I don't know Joe from a rock on the street. However... I hated her and her energy in this.
I don't like her.
I didn't like it.
Let's get after
it. So, Schwartz, he cannot describe what Joe is. He eventually lands on light in his life, which immediately made me go, no way. He hates women.
This was discussed on Watch What Happens Live, and he was like, because Andy was like, it was very confusing. You said there was no romantic thing, but then you said like, you had a whirlwind romance.
A whirlwind romance.
And he was just like, at the place he was in his life with all the chaos going on, he like couldn't be committed, that he needed to be committed instead. And I was like, that is so funny the way you said that. But like, you still are not really answering what the hell went down between you two.
So are they dating or hooking up now?
No. Nothing's happening now. It seems like they were hooking up for a while. It's so sad. If a boy described me like this on national TV, I would literally lose it.
He hates women.
He would rather be committed than like be in a committed relationship than me. It just seems like they like were hooking up friends with benefits during the Raquel.
Was it specifically with her or any committed relationship?
With her. Oh, he didn't say he couldn't be in a committed relationship with her. He just said, like, I couldn't commit to something. I probably needed to be committed at that time. I had so much going on.
Katie's like, yup. Yup. Okay.
So, like...
oh, man. Okay. This scene is going to be so hard for me to get through. Okay, so...
It makes me feel bad for her, but I also dislike her.
I don't like her energy.
I don't like her on my TV.
Like, the 3 people in this scene are just the worst.
Miserable.
Anyway, so, yeah, she wasn't a roommate that he originally said. But now, whatever, now they're just buds. So then Sandoval walks in, and she's like, hey!
She's cutting Schwartz's hair.
Hey, we're just cutting hair! What are you doing? Fuck you. Shut up.
The energy right off the bat. I was like, girl.
Oh my God. A pick me girl. That's this. So Sandoval, of course, he's sober. So he has a non-alcoholic beer, but he brings Coors Light for Schwartz. Listen up. You ever bring me a beer.
Track that.
If you bring me Coors Light, you hate me. I know immediately. Yeah, but
these boys love it. Remember in season 5 when Sandoval was late to the wedding and picked up like 800 cases?
I do not care. This is the shittiest beer. Do not give me Coors.
This is baseball beer that you're sitting in a hot stadium.
Yeah, you could drink it hot or cold.
And you want water. Like when you want water, this is what you're drinking.
Hot or cold. If you could drink a beer hot, it's shit. Don't bring it to my house unless you hate me. So anyway... The 3 of them, why's Joe here? Sit down. Schwartz shares...
In a chair off to the side, by the way.
Yeah, Schwartz shares about Tahoe. Doesn't invite Joe. Just invites Sandoval.
I thought he was going to, and I was like, this would make more sense why she's here.
No, just let's get that out of the way. He says Ariana and Katie won't be there, but everyone else will. And Schwartz suggests that Sandoval leaves his ego in LA and maybe apologizes for what he's done. And Sandoval immediately goes... Lala, I'm sorry I gave you so much content for your podcast and how much merch you sold. And Joe's like, got her. Fuck you.
I was like,
Pick me, girl.
I forgot she was there, and then I'm like, why are you laughing so hard at this?
Third voice that just pierces my eardrum.
Schwartz is working overtime to get this group back together.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get this group back together, but I can see the effort in the T-balls, like the throws he is giving Sandoval to knock it out of the park.
And even Sandoval can't hit it for him. So, Sandoval is just so upset how fucked up Lala and Sheena are for showing the entire nation how to treat him. And I said, sir, I would treat you the same way with or without these podcasts.
That's what I said to my TV. I would have had the same opinions about you no matter what.
Honestly, them shitting on you so much made me ease up on my shit. I don't give a fuck about you now.
Why isn't he yelling at China, who basically owns TikTok, for spitting out all this stuff too then? Like,
ooh,
should we just like yell at Instagram and go and like, hey, Mark Zuckerberg, why would you do this to me?
I dare you to come at us. Let's see what happens, bitch. Let's go.
The way he can always put himself as the like
victim,
lowest man on the totem pole. It takes a lot of work and mental gymnastics to get yourself there.
Truly delusional to do it this many times. I think you just start to believe.
He's about to win gold at the Olympics for these gymnastics.
Amazing. So Schwartz is like, hey, don't bring that energy.
Hey, that? No.
Please. And then Schwartz is like, I'm worried. But he goes, listen, he tells Sandoval, he's like, listen, my first thought was not to invite you, okay? But I decided to invite you, hoping you could change things. And I'm like,
don't ruin this for me.
What a hit. Because Sandoval, he's like James. He just wants to be invited and included. So for Schwartz to say, I thought about leaving your ass at home. I could leave you here with Joe. How about that, you big bitch? But I'm bringing you. But be grateful.
Like, Sandoval doesn't even care about Schwartz's position in this group to like shut the fuck up for 5 minutes.
And Schwartz also shares that Lala is actually getting softer, maybe with her age, and she's fully self-aware because she's actually in fucking therapy. So maybe you could talk to her. And Joe goes, finally. And I literally went, who are you? Who are you?
Like,
back the fuck up, Joe. I swear to God, if I was here, all of them would be, do you feel this? Right in the face. fuck these three. Fuck them.
I was like, shut up from the side.
Who are you? Also, this scene made Schwartz look good because these two other people, trash. I can only handle two trash personalities on my screen at a time. So
cream rises to the top, and so when you have such lead holding it down, like Schwartz like floats to the top like he's perfect.
You know what? When it's usually Schwartz and Sandoval, I could be like, they're both shit. But add Joe in the mix, Schwartz knew what he was doing.
But Sandoval and Schwartz, when it's just the two of them, Schwartz still looks like a little bit better. You know, you're
but
like,
man,
you're not as that bad. With Joe, you're like,
dude's number one. You know,
God.
So Sandoval's like, it's been Schwartz. What? No, hang on. Sandoval says, oh my God, it's been like 5 months though I've been getting hate. And Schwartz goes, so what's 5 more minutes? And I died laughing. I was like.
But also it has not been 5 months.
It's been 3. But yeah, but so then Joe is like, haha, he's right. Shut the fuck up and get off my screen. Never again. Go cut your own fucking hair. Get lost, bitch. I swear to God, I'll fight her.
Get lost.
I hope Joe and Sandoval roll up into these DMs when they hear this episode. I swear to God, come at me.
This is the downside of the group being fractured, is that like we need people to film with Sandoval.
Joe.
And Joe and Billy. And I'm like, Billy Lee.
Fine. Billy Lee, fine.
Billy looks incredible compared to Joe.
My God, Joe was pain. Imagine her at the cold plunge. Jesus Christ. Visceral. Do I hate her more than Sandoval?
I need Alex Baskin to let me know how many episodes Joe's going to be on. I'm pretty sure she's in the finale.
Oh my God.
So like, I think she's in this season as a friend
of Schwartz's friend of? Great. Anyway, so Sheena and Brock's apartment. Tori, another friend of, is here, the nanny. We get Summer Moon. Summer Moon's fucking so cute. I love her. Sheena has dinner plans tonight, and though she trusts Tori, she doesn't trust her enough. So Courtney's also here.
I was confused at first because Sheena said she had dinner plans, not her and Brock had dinner plans. And I'm like, oh, so Tori needs to be here with Brock? I thought Brock and Tori were hanging out at
Brock's
the house
like, I
with
can't
Summer.
handle this anymore with Summer. He's like, we got to train. Anyway, Summer Moon, fucking savage. Sheena's like, bye, I'm going to miss you. And Summer's basically like, can you get the fuck out of my house? Bye.
She's like, I want to hang out with my girlies.
I want to hang out with Tori. I don't want you here. You're always here, Mom.
Get out of here.
Fucking leave me. No. Summer Moon seems like, as a babysitter, seems like a really easy kid. Like, I grew up babysitting. Summer Moon wouldn't cry for shit. She'd be the best.
And Sheena's like the mom that like won't leave.
Yeah, and when Summer Moon is the kid that can handle it,
like,
you know?
Leave, Mom, I got this.
Yeah. You know what parents leave? The kids that scream bloody murder.
I'm happy for Sheena, though, that Summer is good, so then it probably, like,
makes
hopefully
it easier.
makes the, yeah. I really want her, I hope she's, like, better
like,
now.
Summer Moon's not concerned. I don't have to be concerned.
Yeah, I think if Summer Moon was, like, flipping at her shit, if, like, Sheena was leaving, she would never leave.
For sure. Okay, so then we go to Beach and Brew. Brock and Sheena, first night out without Sheena's mom babysitting. We're making progress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Allie and James are here. They talk about Tahoe. Sheena shares her conversation she had with Lisa. We'll just skip over it. But Allie basically understands going easier than they have been. And I love how she says, we're not going to fully, like, ease up, but we'll go easier.
Yeah.
James says he is talking, or he got a call from Lisa today, and they're talking tomorrow, so he's fully preparing to have to talk about this. And Sheena just doesn't want, she doesn't want Sandoval to do something and then it be too late to reach out.
Yes.
And Brock is like, Brock, for my God, Brock was the star of this. He's like, yeah, but that's not on you, Sheena.
I love that.
Love.
Why is nobody saying that? Sheena takes everything, like, on emotionally. And, like, I really saw myself in her a little bit
Lisa
this episode.
Knows that.
Yes, I like take on other people's emotions a lot, and it's like I'm learning in therapy. It is not my job to try and plan for everybody else's life and like figure things out. So then like to like manipulate in a sense in a positive way, like their emotions to make sure they're happy, they're this, they're that. Like Sheena hears that from Lisa and is probably like, I need to go like fix him. And it's like, that is not your job, whether you are on good terms with him or not. And like, do not like Lisa, yes, is like, she's preying on her, and that is not okay. She's like, Sheena's in like her own shit. Leave her alone.
Agreed.
Justice for Sheena right now.
Justice for Shishi. I love her. Anyway.
I'm sad for her.
I know. She's taking it all on, but I love that she has Brock to be like, this is not on you. This is not your responsibility.
We're not doing this. Yeah. Like, we're going to cut the podcast crap, but like, that's it.
We already have one child. We don't need another.
We don't need a 40-year-old man child.
Allie's nervous to go to Tahoe and for Sandoval to come because she knows that she might fall for what he has to say. And I was like, self-realization. So don't, now that you know, in one ear out the other.
Plan for it.
So Allie says she personally doesn't have a problem with Tom Sandoval, right? She just came in this group. But
I like that she acknowledges that. Like, she doesn't have any direct issues with him. Because some people love to like tack on to like other people's problems and be like, we hate.
Well, she does say she is uneasy being around him because of how he hurt James and doesn't want to be fake nice.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. Hurts your partner, you're done.
And this is that like in between. We can live in the gray area. I'm really bad at doing it, but like you don't have to be mean and you don't have to be nice. You can just be existing.
So Brock says if things really don't go well, there are hotels down the street, which I was like, another thing as adults we have to remember. We have money. We don't have to stay somewhere we don't need to stay.
Yeah, and like James at one point says like, we are going to hang out and have fun. And if he just happens to be there, like, we'll like figure this out, but like we are the friends going and doing this, and like we're gonna focus on each other. He needs to be nervous, not us. And Brock says there are also no sides, right? There's a right side and a wrong side, and what he did was wrong, and he needs to acknowledge that. Brock is just zingers, baby. Am I about to say make that man a full cast member? Homebody. Someone give me a subscription to Homebody. Cut the Homebody. Brock is allowed to be a full cast member in my mind. We need some more guys that hang out with the actual group. I don't need a husband though, but whatever. So Allie's like, look, we can ride for Ariana, but we have to have empathy for someone who fucked their whole life up. And I was like, no, rock out, Allie. Yeah. He did fuck his whole life up. We can say you fucked it up. I feel bad for you.
I feel bad you did that.
But it's not my problem.
Yeah, I feel bad that you did that, but I don't care.
Hope you're doing well, but not my problem.
Shut up. Don't do anything bad, but also don't come near me. So good for you.
Apologize, but I hope you're doing okay.
Great. So then we go to Vanderpump Jogs, and James is here. And then Lisa's like, I kind of got annoyed with Lisa, and I apologize, because she's like, hey, you ever talk to Graham? And I was like, the fuck? A, Graham's a dog. B,
hey, call up Graham's cell phone.
No. Why would you bring this up? You know James, A, doesn't have contact with Graham, and B, is upset.
The way this was presented, I was so, because at first they were like, should we sit down somewhere? No, don't. Yeah. I was like, what is happening? I was like, why did this make the episode?
You ever get updates about Graham? And he's like, no, but thank you for bringing it up. Now I'm tearing up. And then
I didn't know this is when, because I thought I thought
it was in Tahoe. I thought it was in Tahoe. But no, so Graham walks down the stairs.
I
loved.
Like, oh my God.
And she tells him that Graham has been rescued, and James is crying.
He is like, it's like in one ear out the other what she is saying, because he's just so overwhelmed.
Well, also he's like, wait, come back. But Graham's obviously excited. So Graham's like jumping all over the place. And he's like, wait, come back. And so Lisa explains how Graham ended up in a shelter, and they scanned his tag and figured out Vanderpump Dogs and called Lisa, and Lisa took him. And James is experiencing a lot of anger and sadness and confusion that Graham was in a foster home and then was like put back into a shelter for biting and might have been euthanized, and it's a whole thing. But he says this is a dream that has come true, that Graham is here with him. And he even looks at Lisa and he's like, I was prepared to talk about Tom. I wasn't prepared for this. And I'm glad Lisa didn't make him talk about Tom. I'm glad he could like leave. So Lisa's like, do you want to take him home? And James, without a thought, is like, yeah, I'll talk to Allie later, but like, he's mine. I'm taking him.
He's coming home with me.
Yeah. And I'm so happy for James and Graham when they walk down the street together. And it's very cute.
I like that. We needed a wholesome moment.
It was very cute.
Bad.
It was cute. So then, next time on Vanderpump Rules, Brock and Sheena discuss the nanny situation. Graham comes home, and we go to Lake Tahoe. So very exciting episode coming up. Okay, should we do accepted and blocked?
Let's do it.
Okay, can I block first?
Yeah, but I feel like I might block the same person.
I'm blocking Lisa. My God, did I want to die. We don't even have to go into it that much, but Jesus Christ.
You can have empathy without forcing people to do things that you want them to do. Lisa, why don't you be that person for him?
Like literally. So, accepted though, I feel like there's a lot of people.
I outside of, listen, everything not Sandoval and Schwartz and Lisa, really loved this episode.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
We had a pool party. Like, how fun.
Speaking of, I think I'm going to go with James. James had a great episode. He was the host of the century. He bought 12 whole towels for everyone.
Yeah.
If I throw a pool party, bring your own towel. Why should I have to buy you a towel? But he did it. He is drinking his weed stuff. He opened up to Lala about his sobriety, and he got Graham Cracker.
I can't believe Graham's back. I'm gonna give it to Sheena because I don't think I really ever do. Although I feel like I gave it to her last week. Sheena. I really feel for her.
Yeah.
But this is gonna get annoying to me if she constantly is going to Ariana saying like, you don't know how hard this is, so I need her to cut that crap out. But I feel for her emotion. Like, I really feel for her. I feel like she is now like Ariana is like propped up and like living life, you know, like Sheena doesn't need to be this like triage person.
Agreed.
And she's now like processing what's going on and seeing the immense guilt of like what not being friends with Tom is like. And I have this like fear of like constantly of like how I'm affecting other people, but it's like, it's not your job to make sure people are happy, you know, living a good life. Like, you can't want it more than they do. And so I just, my heart breaks for her.
I love Shishi. And I love that you love Shishi right now.
Well, I just know she's dealing with her obsessive compulsive, you know, like, so any thought that's put in her brain right now is like on overdrive. And I just
love it. Because I support
really
Shishi.
sad.
Okay, time for thoughts. Jesus Christ. The new
Big words? Yay or no?
A big word. Venmo me $1. Anyway, so Lauren says, sigh, the Sandoval portion of the season is too much. This man is taking no accountability for his actions, and people can stop piling on Tom while still not being his friend. The conversation with LVP made me so annoyed because she wanted them to fully forgive what he did. Tom fucked up. I can understand her asking them to please take their foot off his neck, but quote, leave Ariana behind if that's what your gut tells you. Please. Just because Ariana isn't curled up in the corner crying doesn't mean that she doesn't need support of her friends. I agree. Wow, hit the nail on the head. Look at you, Lauren.
Yep.
Side note, how did Ariana date this man for 9 years? Granted, I didn't start watching until after Sandoval broke, but this guy has given me the ick at least since the season with the white streak in his hair. Listen, yes. So you should go listen to our podcast.
Was so bad.
You should go listen to all the previous ones we've done because it does hit different. My first time as a viewer, I was like, he seems fine. Like, I would never date him, but he seemed like a fine person.
I would be friends with him before Sandoval broke.
I thought he was a great friend, and I was like, great.
Also, fair warning: 1 through 4,
are
8, 9 are pre-Sandoval. 5 is when we is post-Sandoval.
And it does hit different. It's watching the show makes it different. So I think if you were watching it before Sandoval, you had a different idea of him. Also,
he wasn't so defensive back he wasn't defending everything, everything wasn't coming at him.
And he dated Kristen, so that gave him a leg up immediately.
We thought she was the
Kristen
crazy
was
one.
crazy. Mm-hmm. We thought. And then Ariana was so beloved that it was like, oh, if she's dating him, he must be fine. Yeah, so I don't know. We got bamboozled. We're bamboozled.
No, we didn't take the blinders off.
That's true.
We did this to ourselves. There were signs.
Okay, it's Sarah's turn. You guys.
PTSD.
I enjoyed the episode. This episode much that, oh my God, Sarah, you just double words.
Are you okay?
No, she said, I enjoyed this episode much that I watched it twice back to back. So, Sarah, check your spelling next time.
Hey, she watched it back to back. She episode.
Oh, great.
I'm just kidding.
And of course, I have a list and I have notes. So here we go. Oh, Meredith, grab a snack. Alicia, take deep breaths. Yeah,
well,
great.
My popcorn I ate during the
Meredith's
show.
Full. Anyway, so thing Tom Sandoval did this episode. 1, have an ice bath while a friend watched on.
I thought Billy Lee was going to get it.
I thought so too. Did they cut it? I have questions.
Maybe, but that made I didn't even think about that fully, but you're right. That is so weird.
2, say that he needs a method for managing and handling difficult emotions and imply that an ice bath is an acceptable method for this.
I'm going to ask my therapist if this will work for me.
Yeah, find out. 3, want his old life back. 4, say without irony, it's always the people closest to you that hurt you the most. Oh, did we hit on that? 5, speak about saving himself for his true love, Raquel. Oh, did we hit about that? 6, pity himself. 7, display questionable taste in clothing. Well,
I didn't even remember his clothes, thank God.
Yeah, his mouth moved way too much. I couldn't focus. 8, blame Lala and Sheena for, quote, what they did. Though the comments that they made, quote, showed the entire nation how to treat us, people followed their lead. Okay, yeah, that's logically valid. Whatever, fuck.
Yeah, we're all brainless idiots watching the show.
Yeah, we're going to follow Lala and Sheena to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but those aren't the two.
I'm following Katie wherever she goes. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. Yes. So, things Tom Sandoval did not do in this episode. Say anything which even remotely implied any kind of accountability. Sarah, we know. Yeah, this bitch.
I mean, well, we're keeping it down.
We know Sandoval's a total fucking loser. So, Tom Schwartz quotes of the week. Feel free to abbreviate or shorten. I will do my best. Oh, I am Tom Schwartz. I'm not an accessory to the affair. There's so much more to me than that. Yeah, that was great. Coming for your lips. You're one of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. And I
In a
mean
fun
that
way.
platonically.
I don't
We know.
understand how like Schwartz just babbles. Andy told him on Watch What Happens Live that, you know, that like bad Watch What Happens Live from last season.
Yeah.
Andy like was telling the other guest, Jenna Dewan, like, I told him last year, like, you don't have to keep talking. Like when this happens, stop
Shut
talking.
the fuck up. Yeah. 3, and I kind of remember why I fell in love with you in the first place, as friends. Yeah, it was weird. 4, she's not my girlfriend. She never was. We had a whirlwind romance.
Okay.
Oh, we know. Things I love this episode. Katie Maloney in the denim top. You guys, initially, I thought she was just wearing overalls and nothing else, and I had a moment. God damn, she's hot. I know.
She's really coming into her own in like such an incredible way.
It's incredible to watch. Ariana powdering her face while talking about Schwartz. Yeah. What a typical man.
Bothered.
Schwartz bringing an orchid to the pool party. It'll be dead in a week. Yeah, James doesn't know what to do with a fucking orchid. The entire freaking pool party, I loved every moment. It was the symbolic essence of summer. I love James talking about the money he spent on it. $2K when housewives spend $80K. Guarantee it was the towels. They aren't cheap. That's why everyone should have to bring their own towel. I would never go to a pool party without a towel. That's crazy.
It also reminded me of the old school days when they used to go to like the beach. And I understand they can't really be in public like they used to, but like, it's just
I love
fun.
a towel.
It's like they're kids still, because this is different than Beverly Hills.
We just watched season 5 and Sheena threw a pool party at her parents' house, which was amazing. To the possible detriment to your mental health. Sarah, I know the word detriment. Damn it. She put
in parentheses.
Bad impact.
She knows what the words are. She just sometimes can't say them.
I can't read. Anyway, I got detriment. To the possible detriment of your mental health, I want Bravo to do a Summer House spinoff called Summer House VPR Edition, where it's just the cast of VPR living together in a summer house. I want that. That'll never happen.
I don't want that. I don't want it. All.
To my mental health, no thank you. I saw Lisa talking to Lala and Sheena as not asking them to be nice to Sandoval, but just to not bash him, which I think is fair enough. I took it the other way.
Started off that way.
Yeah. I have a question for you ladies. Do you think Schwartz and Lala's conversation at the pool party is the origin story to the comment Lala says about Ariana becoming God? This is the first proper combo we've seen reference God status, diva energy, and being put on a pedestal. Is this where it all begins? Maybe.
Yeah.
I still don't know how that comment's gonna like. I still can't figure it out.
I don't either, because like in this conversation, Lala like kind of not in this conversation, in the after show that I did watch, like Sheena, Lala, and James all talked about how like there kind of always is a queen bee every season. Like
it's never been Sheena.
Oh my god, she literally she said that? Did you know that?
It's never been Lala either. Yeah,
I know, but Sheena literally like was choking up, being like, "It's never been me."
Truthfully, in my opinion, it's never really been Katie either.
No.
It's
except
only
for her
ever
wedding
been
season. Her
not
wedding
even
season.
that though. People hated her. The public hated her. It has only ever been Stassi, and then Ariana.
I don't know who's been at the last few seasons, but whatever. It's just
dare I say Raquel had a moment last season.
That's true. I think this is a tipping point where Lala's realizing, or like she's gonna look back on this and realize she has an audience for being annoyed.
She has support. Yeah.
Yeah. Like so you don't shit talk someone else until they shit talk the same person to you. You know.
Yeah. Also, Schwartz's platonic love comments to Lala had me cracking up. I cannot imagine any scenario where those two would get together. No, never. No. He's a blob of nothing.
She would never.
I can't even skip the scenario and picture them as a couple. I desperately want to know if there's fanfic out there where someone made it happen. Ugh.
No, Sarah.
My God, Sarah.
New PTSD.
You need to go to therapy. My God. The scene with James and Graham equals heartwarming. Okay, wrapping it up now. I'm accepting Lala this week. I wanted to accept James Lisa, Schwartz, and even the pool party itself. But if I got to
Ooh,
pick one, it's Lala.
people are not going to like that. You
I don't
accepting
like.
Lisa.
I don't like Lisa. Blocked. Sandoval is the only one who really did anything wrong, but it feels like an old hat to block him again. Should I block Lisa's swans because I think birds are freaky? If you want. No, I won't allow it. Sometimes I don't allow certain people to be in the.
They have to be like a full cast member or like really a big focal point of the episode.
Yeah. Okay, Courtney. Ooh, Courtney. I wook up at 4:30 this morning to watch on my DVR. You beat me. I was up at 5:45 watching this. So you win. Oh, I'll never complain again. Yesterday work was rough, so I loved vodka more than VPR. Oh my God. You sound like us. Are you okay, Courtney?
Oh my God. Also, I realized we can't drink for the Summer House premiere episode because it's going to be like 9 a.m. when we record.
I'll make a mimosa. Dare me.
The second episode, I really want to get drunk.
I'm going to make a mimosa.
I want to love vodka more than Summer House.
That was awesome. I already know I want to be invited to Casa Kennedy for this pool party. He bought like 12 towels. You sound like Raquel. We love the towels
being a thing for like, hilarious. That's how we all know we're like full-fledged adults.
Yeah, I want to know what towels he bought. Where did he buy them?
I just bought towels last fall.
I love towels.
They better last me the rest of my life.
Also, James and Graham cracker is exactly what I need to start my day. Too bad it was at the end. Am I right? Okay, Tierney says, James and Graham's reunion was everything. I loved how Graham came running down the stairs to James. It once again warmed my cold, dead heart, and I almost teared up. Lala's support of James' sobriety was wonderful. I completely understand Lisa wanting everyone to lay off Sandoval. However, she's doing it in a way that is basically guilting Lala and Sheena into forgiving him, or at least that's how I took it. Same. Right. Ariana said it best in the after show that if Lisa was so worried about Tom harming himself, she should have called a professional, not just put it on the friend group to forgive him. Agreed.
That's the thing, is we're making this like a friend group thing rather than like actually taking this as a health thing.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't trust Sheena and Lala to help your mental health? Throw in Schwartz for sure.
If they gave him a compliment and invited him to a party, he'd be fixed right up.
Cured. Depression, what's that?
Yeah. I wish that worked for me.
So, speaking of the after show, Lala and Sheena basically showed their true feelings that they are sick of Ariana. James looked super uncomfortable during the conversation this week, too. Was it bad?
It was awkward. You can tell, like, I mean, this is obviously after the season, but, like, they're pretty fed up with this, like, whole queen behavior. And, like, James is like, James was the one being like, well, there's, like, a queen every season. And then they were like, oh, yeah, there is.
I mean, as they say that, I'm sure they got free tickets to go to Chicago. I know they were both there.
That's the thing. Ariana, like, getting all this attention does not equal diva automatically for me, but I feel like they're making it out to be that, like,
agreed.
Ariana's changed. And Ariana on the after show was like, I have not changed my behavior at all. Like, I don't feel like I'm better than anyone, like, nothing. And, like, Katie was like, dude, you're fucking epic. Like, I would kind of like feel a little bit different. Like,
Katie's like, we should really monetize.
This is fucking insane.
She's like, I can't wait for us to make billions on this sandwich shop.
And they flashed back to that clip of Ariana in 2019 being like, I was born fucking cool. And I was like, she's always been this way.
She's always been superior almost. You know, like,
her,
she just knows.
Personality, the way she interacts with people has not been different. Sheena said, like, oh, she, like, takes longer to, like, respond to me, but I guess that's, like, because she's busy. Like,
she's also in a different time zone right now. Calm down.
Like, just because she's busier does not mean she thinks she's better than you.
Also, what are you texting her? Pictures of Summer Moon? We know what she looks like. We got it.
We follow the Instagram.
But you still go out and you're like, Team Ariana, we love you, Auntie Ariana. Like, you're still putting yourself as an Ariana supporter. So why are you so mad that you must, like, this is who you're supporting? You know what I mean?
And, like, Sheena was like, I mean, like, does she ever check in on you to James? And James was like, that's not, like, how our relationship is. Like, we'll see each other, you know, every once in a while, and we'll, like, catch up and be like, how are you? And she'll say, like, I need to come to see you, like, DJ. And he'll, you know, say whatever. And so he was just like, nothing is different about our relationship today than, like, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Or not 4 months ago, but like before this all happened. I just think they're jealous of the continued attention that Ariana is getting, and theirs is not lasting, because obviously, like, we've played this out. It's not going to continue. Their podcast numbers are probably down. Like, they're not getting the fame off of her trauma. And so they're pissed that she's still riding the wave and they're not.
I think they're looking at it too as they were also hurt by this. So what, like, they're not getting the same things. And it's like, bitch, her whole life fucking fell apart because this narcissist, and then he told everyone that she has body image issues and wears a t-shirt during sex. And like, he attacked her. He didn't attack the rest of you. You guys were just collateral, you know? But you monetized off of it.
Yes, and her growth is more sustainable because she like did Dance with the Stars and then she like went into a Broadway thing. Like, that has a linear path. Whereas like, of course your podcast downloads would tank. Like, this isn't relevant anymore. Like,
ours did too.
Have to keep following
like, Jesus
the
Christ.
next scandal, the next conversation. Like, that's what being a podcast host is.
Like, our numbers aren't what they were during Sandoval, obviously. Because
But I'm not like saying like fuck you, Ariana, for it.
Yeah, what the fuck? If anything, she's the reason we still have this show to talk about. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
So, anyway, Sandoval and Schwartz continue to not take any form of accountability. I'm sure I'm missing a lot. But this is what happens when I watch the episode and after show at 6 a.m. Oh my God, Tyranny twins. Anyway, Tyranny is accepting James this week. I'm happy for him, and his first pool party was a success.
That's so true.
He discussed his sobriety and reunited with Graham. I'm blocking Sandoval. Playing the victim is getting old, and I cannot get the New York Times article out of my head, so I'm sure that's playing into my feelings. I did almost block Lala, though, because guilting the group into forgiving Sandoval is bothering me. Oh, my God. Also, Ariana and Katie's Lyft driver. How crazy was that? That was awesome. Someone get him on our podcast. Anyway, Lauren says, back with another comment. Please tell me that you guys will have seen the Variety article, the interview article with Sandoval eating cake in time
what I mentioned at the start
to
of the
discuss
episode.
on the pod.
We didn't really discuss it, but I didn't
watch it.
Talk of Shame posted all the pictures.
Oh, she wants our reactions in real time.
No.
I'll like make a TikTok maybe if it's somewhere. I'll find it.
I like that, Alicia.
I'll find it
because I saw all the pictures and I was like, what are we doing?
As long as Joe's not there, I think I handle myself.
Who pitched this article? As someone who works in media, I can't imagine this being on the storyboard and getting like done.
Tonette says, I agree with Lisa. Come for me if you want to, but I do.
I need more about like I agree with Lisa at the start. I understand what she's saying in the simplest form, but it's how she's going about it.
Another thing we have to check out, Courtney says, is James's TikTok is insane. He makes the show fun, and I love seeing his success. Yeah, well, when has he ever not been fun, you know? True. Okay, those are all of our comments. We did it. I knew a bunch of words. I knew detriment. Congrats to me. Great episode. Be sure to do all the things. Message us, follow us. I'm back on my TikTok bullshit, and I'm going to get Meredith on it too.
Yes. TikTok, we're blowing up this season. And join Patreon. Like, truly, really fun. I'm excited because they have this new, like, chat feature. So we're, like, we haven't gotten it yet, but it's going to roll out, I'm sure, during the live season.
And we got Summer House coming, so do all the things.
Whole podcast happening. It's worth the dollar.
Leave us a review, please? Great.
Hey, girl math that. What's it per day? Just somebody divide it themselves.
What? Anyway, so okay, any last words before I close this out?
No.
Great. As the great James Kennedy once said, forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.